Yes, now accounting for leases, unit 2 is the last chapter of our syllabus. Then first in the revision pro rata allotment of shares will take up. Now regarding the practical, you people are lucky that you remember in AFS subject we have done lease accounting.
Yes, sir.
Practical entries, journal entries, remember?
Yes.
2 questions are done in college, one is same as AFS. Any student who is there in AFS or who is not there in HFA but not in AFS. So if everyone has got, will go through that and will revise that. Okay, only one new example is there which we need to do. So look at your books, all of you. The pamphlet given in the book is proper only here. No changes are there. Page 26. Page number 26. Unit 2A, accounting for lease. Take a note, everyone. Same. Last second page. Yes, from the beginning. Need an object. Every theory point, everyone think we have to read because you will not understand anything on your own when you read it. The language is very complicated.
Needs an objective.
Yes, first we take up with need and objective. Why this accounting standard is required. In bracket you can mention AS 19. Accounting for leases we do as per AS 19. Yes.
Lease is an agreement by which the lessor gives the right to use an asset for given period of time to the lessee on rent. It involves two parties, a lessor and lessee, and an asset which is to be leased. The
See here, basically what happens in lease accounting, the person who gives the asset on lease is called lessor. We have done this in AFS also, and you can say lessor is the actual owner of the asset. Okay? Then he gives the asset on lease to the person who is called lessee. You can say he is like a tenant. You understand? Tenant, the person who takes the things on rent. So a lessor is the person who is the actual owner of the asset. He gives the asset on lease to lessee. The person who takes on lease is called as lessee. Further?
The lessor who owns the asset agreed to allow to the lessee to use it for a specified period of time in return for periodic rent payments.
So every time, every month, every year, whatever payment you will be making, lease payments, we call them as lease payments, they are as good as rent payments. It is as good as if you have taken the asset on rent.
The lease transactions derive its accounting complexity from number of alternatives available to the parties involved. Lease can be structured to take tax benefit. It can be used to transfer ownership of the leased asset, and it can also be used to transfer the risk of ownership.
Now, basically, who is the owner?
Lessor.
But there are different types of lease. One is financial lease, the other is operating lease. So here, lessor can transfer the ownership and risk also to the lease, depending on the type of lease.
In any event, substance of transaction dictates the accounting treatment. The lease transaction is probably the best example of the accounting profession's substance over legal form. If the transactions effectively transfer ownership to lessee, then the substance of the transaction is that of a sale and should be recognized as such, even though transactions take form of a lease.
So in case if you are transferring the ownership and risk both to the lessee, then it is as good as sale, because the other person you are transferring the ownership also. Here content, substance is more important than the form. As per the substance it is a sale, as per the form it's a lease. Accounting is done as if it is a sale. Did everyone understand this? Types of lease.
For the purpose of accounting, we classify the lease into two categories as follows. A. Financial lease. B. Operating lease. Financial lease. It is a lease which transfers substantially all the risk rewards incidental to ownership of an asset to the lessee by the lessor, but not legal ownership.
Like transfers, risks, rewards, not legal ownership.
In In following situations, the lease transactions are called finance lease. The lease will get the ownership of lease asset at the end of lease term.
Lease immediate lessee. The lessee will get the ownership, but at the end of lease term. Means if lessor has given the asset on 10 years lease to lessee, for first 10 years he is the tenant, and after the lease is over, then depending on certain conditions be satisfied, he becomes the owner. So lessee will get the ownership, but at the end of the lease term.
The lessee has no option to buy the leased asset at the end of the term at price which is lower than its expected fair value at the date on which option will be exercised.
See, he has an option, as I said, certain conditions being satisfied. So after 10 years are over, lessee has an option. He can buy the asset because he has already paid huge amount in the 10 years. So he can pay some nominal amount and get the asset, or else he can give up the asset. So it depends whether you take it up or not.
The lease term covers the major part of the life of asset.
Also, suppose the asset is life of 20 years, then lease will be for 15 years, 17 years. Major life of asset will be already covered in the lease.
At the beginning of lease term, present value of minimum lease rental covers substantially the initial fair value of the leased asset. The asset.
That's why we discussed in even the questions in practical and we solved that minimum lease payments present value must be more than equal to 90%, remember, fair value of the asset. So it covers, the lease payments covers the majority amount of fair value of assets.
The asset given on lease to lessee is of specialized nature and can only be used by the lessee without major modification.
Yes, so the asset given on lease is of specialized nature. Means generally which kind of assets do you give on lease? Coal mines, quarries, special machineries, special plant. They are all of specialized nature and can only be used by the lessee without major modification. Means you cannot make much changes in that asset. As it is, you are required to use the same.
Operating lease.
This one are the main characteristics of financial lease. In the first one underline, ownership at the end. Second underline, option to buy at the end. Third underline, term covers major life. Next underline, at the beginning, present value covers substantially the initial fair value. And in the last one underline, asset specialized nature used without modification, major modification. Understood that?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is operating
Operating
lease?
lease. It is a lease which does not transfer substantially all the risk and reward incidental to ownership. Classification of lease is made at the inception of the lease. If at any time the lessee and lessor agree to change the provision of lease and it results in different category of lease, it will be treated as separate agreement.
Operating lease means what? See, in financial lease, risk and rewards are transferred to lessee. Means suppose I give this place on 10 years lease to someone. If it is a financial lease, then risk and rewards will get transferred to someone. So suppose after 5 years, any damage takes place to the property. Let us say fire, earthquake, any uneven circumstances arise. Who will bear that risk? Someone. Also in between, if any reward comes, risk and reward both are transferred. So in between, suppose government suddenly comes and the government likes 9 days only, and this user is having this place, will get a reward of 50,000 rupees. Then that also will get someone in financial lease. But in operating lease, it's a pure rent agreement only. Risk and rewards belong to the lessor. So after 5 years, if any damage takes place, I have to bear it. If any reward comes, I will get it. Did you understand this question? There is a major difference. And here you also have an option to buy at the end. So here you are just like an owner only. Everything belongs to the owner. Risk also, rewards also. And in financial lease and in operating lease, you are just like a. Okay. So you can understand in this manner that lease financial and operating. In financial lease, risk and reward is transferred to lessee, and here it belongs to lessee. So it is transferred to lessee and here it belongs to lessee. Any confusion on this? Further?
Applicability. The accounting standard is not applicable to following types of lease. Lease agreement to explore natural resources such as oil, gas, timber, metal and other mineral rights. Licensing agreement for motion picture film, video recording, plays, manuscripts, patent and other rights. Lease agreement to use land.
So what all is not covered in this AS 19? Like standard not applicable, natural resources, motion picture films, land. In these three, the lease agreement cannot apply. Other things only it will apply.
Definitions. To understand the accounting of lease, there are various terms which need to be explained. These are guaranteed residual value.
Okay, first term to be understood is guaranteed
Residual value.
residual value. You understand what is residual value? Scrap value. After the period of life of asset is over, the scrap value. Guaranteed means out of that scrap value, what part amount is guaranteed? That you are definitely going to get. Yes.
In respect of lessee, such part of the residual value which is guaranteed by or on behalf of the lessee. In respect of lessor, such part of the residual value which is guaranteed by or on behalf of the lessee or by an independent third party.
Now, from lessee's point of view, what is guaranteed residual value? If lessee himself has given any guarantee,
On behalf.
or on behalf of lessee someone else has given the guarantee. For example, I have given this asset on lease for 10 years to Samarth, and guaranteed residual value means he guarantees that he will give to me after 10 years certain amount, let us say 1 lakh or 2 lakh. Or on behalf of Samarth, let us say that Nair has guaranteed that he will give me 1 lakh rupees, then that is also guaranteed residual value. That is for whom? Samarth. From my point of view, the guaranteed residual value means both, either given the guarantee by Samarth or by or any other third party also, like bank, financial institution, anyone else in between also. If they give the guarantee, then for me that will also be included. So from lessee's point of view, it is guaranteed by or on behalf of lessee, and from lessor's point of view, it is guaranteed by or on behalf of lessee. Or additional point is what? Or
Any independent
third party, like that, or any independent third party. Yes, further.
For the lessor, the residual value guaranteed by the third party can arise when the asset is leased to the third party after lease has expired, and therefore can be called the residual value guaranteed by the third party to the lessor.
Now the question is when this third party will give the guarantee, like I said, bank or financial institution. An agreement is made that I am giving this property on lease for 10 years to Samarth, and bank says, okay, for 10 years you give it to Samarth. After 10 years the property will be given to us. Right now itself make an agreement. So they give me the guarantee of the residual value. For me, Samarth and Nair has no relation with the bank. Bank has given that guarantee to me that after 10 years they will give me the residual value. So after 10 years now, once the lease term is over, then Samarth himself cannot take the asset. I have to pass it over to the bank. So from lessee's point of view, the guaranteed residual value is the guarantee given by the lessee or on his behalf by someone else. From lessor's point of view, given by the lessee or on his behalf by someone else, or even independent third party. An independent third party's situation comes when after the lease term is over, the asset will go to that independent third party. Okay.
Unguaranteed residual value. The difference between residual value of asset and its guaranteed residual value is unguaranteed.
So the actual residual value is 1,50,000, but he has given guarantee of 1 lakh. Or on his behalf, Nair has given a guarantee of 1 lakh. Or independent party has given a guaranteed residual value of 1 lakh. The difference 50,000 is unguaranteed. Okay, actual residual value minus guaranteed residual value. Any doubts on this?
Gross investment. Gross investment in lease is the sum of the following. Minimum lease payment.
Second term is gross investment. Guaranteed residual value is clear? Yes.
Minimum lease payment from the standpoint of lessor and any unguaranteed residual value occurring to the lessor.
Now, what is this gross investment? Means from lessor's point of view, what is the gross investment I am making in the asset? One is minimum lease payment. Minimum lease payment means, suppose he is going to pay me 50,000 every year for the 10 years. Then what is the lease payment I am going to get? 50,000 into 10? 5 lakhs. That minimum lease payment is the gross investment plus any unguaranteed residual value accruing to the lessor. Unguaranteed. Plus if I am, like I discussed right now, 1,50,000 is the value, but he is given guarantee of 1 lakh, then difference of 50,000. So what will be gross investment? Minimum lease payment plus unguaranteed residual value.
Interest rate implicit is the case. When the lessor gives an asset on lease, particularly on finance lease, the total amount which he receives over lease period by giving the asset on lease includes the element of interest plus payment of principal amount of asset.
See, suppose this asset is of 10 lakh rupees and I give him a 10 years lease. Then I am not going to charge him only 1 lakh. Because that 10 lakhs is today's value. If you pay me today, you have to pay me 10 lakhs. But you are going to pay over
10 years.
10 years. So ideally 10 lakhs divided by 10, annual installment comes to 1 lakh. But suppose I charge him 1 lakh 30,000. Then every year I am charging how much extra?
30.
That is for interest. And whatever is the rate comes based on this 30,000 is called implicit hidden rate of interest. Okay.
The rate at which the interest amount is calculated can be simply called implicit rate of interest. In other words, it is implied interest rate at which the lease transaction is done. More accurately, it can be expressed as under. It is the discount rate at which fair value of leased asset is equals to present value of minimum lease payment in respect of lessor plus any unguaranteed residual value occurring to the lessor.
So discount rate means what? The rate at which we convert the future value into present value is called discount rate. It's rate of interest only. Discount rate means rate of interest only. Like today you invest 100 rupees, 10% interest you get. After 1 year it will become 110. If you say 100 becomes 110 after 1 year, then we say 10% is interest rate. And if we say 110 after 1 year is equal to 100 rupees today, then we say 10% is the discount rate. So only different terms but meaning is same. When you convert today's value into future value, present value into, it is called interest. When you convert future value into present value, then same interest is called discount. Okay, so here unlike discount rate and write interest rate. Now which interest rate at which the fair value of leased asset means the rate at which, suppose he is paying me how much? 1,30,000. 1,30,000 into 10 he will be paying me how much? 13 lakhs. The rate at which 1 lakh will be equal to 1,30,000 for 10 years. The rate of interest. That rate of interest will be called implicit rate of interest. Is everyone clear with this? The rate at which the fair value of leased asset, that is 1 lakh, is equal to present value of minimum lease payments, means 1,30,000 is going to pay me every year, plus unguaranteed residual value accruing to the lessor.
Contingent rent. Lease rent fixed on the basis of percentage of sales, amount of usage, price indices. Market rate of interest is called contingent rate.
Contingent means dependent. Fixed. Rent is not fixed. I don't say that you will pay me 1,30,000. I'll keep the rent variable. The rent will be dependent on which all factors. Sales. I tell him that, like for example, if you go to Inorbit, the rent is charged in this manner. That top store near that food malls, food stalls, food counters. So the rent charged by Inorbit is that fixed you have to pay 50,000 per month plus whatever sales you make, 10% of that will also go to Inorbit. 10% of that will also go to Inorbit. So this is not contingent rate, not fixed rate. It is dependent on certain factors. Contingent means dependent. It is dependent on which all factors? Sales, amount of usage. I tell him that you have to use it for 10 hours. Then if he uses for 12 hours, then I'll say rent will increase. If in between you use the asset for 12 hours, then the rent will increase. Then further it will depend on price indices, market rate of interest. So this is called contingent rate. Did you understand this? What do you mean by contingent rate? Dependent. It depends on certain factors. Did you understand this, everyone?
Yes.
So, unlike rent fixed on the basis of percentage of sales, amount of usage, price indices, market rate of interest is called contingent rate. Yes. In other words,
In other words, lease rent is not fixed, but it is based on a factor other than time.
did everyone understand this? And last term is,
Minimum lease payment. MLP.
now this term we have been using in between, like gross investment we said is equal to minimum lease payment plus unguaranteed residual value. So now what is that minimum lease payment from lesser's point of view?
For lesser. Total lease rent to be paid by lessee over the lease terms plus any guaranteed residual value by or on behalf of lessee minus contingent rent minus cost for service and tax to be paid by reimbursed to lessor plus residual value guaranteed by third party.
So what is from lesser's point of view the minimum payment he is going to get? Minimum amount what the lessor is going to get. One is the lease rent paid by the lessee like 1,30,000 into 10 years, 13 lakhs. Plus any guaranteed residual value by or on behalf of lessee. Plus he is going to pay me 1 lakh or on his behalf Nair is going to pay me 1 lakh. So I am going to get 13 lakhs plus 1 lakh, 14 lakhs. Minus contingent rate. Minus contingent rate means rent depends on certain factors. So if extra amount is collected or less amount is collected, that I minus. Minus cost for service and tax to be paid by and reimbursed to the lessor. So if suppose I have paid any tax and then the lessee reimburses to me. Suppose municipal tax comes for this property which I pay. So is my income decreasing because of that or not?
Yes.
So if I have paid any amount of tax and service on this property, then that amount will be subtracted. Plus residual value guaranteed by third party. So suppose bank has given further a guarantee of 50,000. The condition is after that the asset will go to the bank. So that payment also I am going to receive. So what is the total payments I am going to receive? First is the rent paid by the lessee plus guaranteed residual value by lessee or on his behalf minus any contingent rent minus any expenses if I have to bear on the property like tax and services plus further I get the guaranteed residual value by the third party. Able to understand this?
For lessee, total lease rent to be paid by lessee over the lease terms plus any guaranteed residual
Now
value.
from someone's point of view, what is the minimum lease payment? He is going to pay me 1,30,000 into 10 plus 1 lakh.
14 lakhs.
14
So for him it is the minimum lease payment he is going to pay me plus rent he is going to pay me plus guaranteed residual value.
Lease includes hire purchase. The definitions of a lease include agreements for the hire of an asset, which contains a provision given the hirer can an option to acquire title to the asset upon the fulfillment of agreed conditions. These agreements are commonly known as hire purchase
We
agreements.
studied hire purchase and installment system in first year, and if you remember in AFS when we studied the entries of lease accounting, they were also exactly same as
There.
hire purchase system. So lease agreement includes hire purchase system because in hire purchase it also happens the same. Then initially you are taking it on rent and at the end the tenant becomes the owner on the payment of last installment.
Accounting for finance lease in the books of lessee.
Now finance lease means what? Major value is covered and risk and rewards are transferred to the lessee. So how to do the accounting for finance lease and in whose books?
Lessee.
Lessee, the person who has taken on lease. How will you do the accounting?
As it is already mentioned that legally the ownership of lease asset remains with lessor, but risk and reward of lease asset is transferred to the lessee. Therefore, the substance of transaction is lessee becomes the owner. Hence, the transactions are recorded by substance, not by the legal form.
So what is finance lease? Risk and rewards are?
Transferred to lessee.
Means basically who is the owner? Lessor or lessee? Lessee is only the owner because in between if damage takes place, lessee has to bear it. So accounting is done as if lessee is the owner of the asset. Means lessee will provide depreciation. Accounting is done as if lessee itself is the owner. In the books of lessee we are talking about. So accounting will be done as if he is the owner of the asset.
Leased asset as well as liabilities for lease should be recognized at the lower of fair value of the leased asset at the inception of lease or present value of minimum lease payment from the lessee point of view, whichever is lower.
So first of what will you record as the asset as well as the liability? As I said, you will record it as if it's the owner. And if he is the owner, then he'll record the asset also on the asset side of balance sheet, and the payment to be made to the lessor also on the liability side of balance sheet. Now both the things he will record with what amount? And like lower of fair value or present value of minimum lease payment. So he will record it at what value? Fair value. Like I said, what is the fair value of my asset? 10 lakhs. Or he is going to pay 1,30,000 into 10? 30 lakhs plus 1 lakh.
Or 14 lakhs.
So what is its present value? He is not going to pay 14 lakhs right now. He is going to pay over a period of 10 years. What is its today's value? Suppose its today's value comes to 9 lakhs. Then which one is lower?
9 lakhs.
You will record it at 9 lakhs. Suppose its today's value comes to 11 lakhs. Then which one is lower? 10 lakhs. Actual value of the asset. Then you will record it at 10 lakhs. You will record it at the lower of fair value of the asset or present value of minimum lease payments which he is going to make.
Apportionment of lease payment. Each lease payment is apportionment between finance charge and principal amount. Principal amount is reduced from the outstanding liability. Finance charge is allocated over the lease term in such a manner that it would produce a constant rate of return on the remaining principal balance.
So how do you do this now? He is paying me 1,30,000. Every year 1,30,000 I divide in two parts. How much he pays towards 10 lakh and remaining amount is towards the interest. Whatever amount is considered towards 10 lakhs will be deducted from liability, and whatever he pays towards interest, he will show it as an expense in P&L account on debit side.
The lessee lease book should charge depreciation on finance lease asset as per accounting standard 6.
Also, he will provide depreciation because he is considered as an, we are talking about financially, so he is considered as an owner.
Initial direct cost for finance lease is included in asset under lease.
Any initial expense incurred to get the lease done, legal expenses, stamping, etc., will be added in the cost of asset. Did you understand this?
Yes.
So we'll do the accounting as if lessee is the owner.
Accounting for finance lease in the books of lessor. The substance of finance is that the lessor sells leased asset to lessor.
Now, lessor point of view also, it is as good as if he is selling the asset to the lessee. So he'll do the accounting as if it is sale of an asset.
Therefore, the lessor should recognize asset given under finance lease as receivable at an amount equal to net investment in the lease and corresponding credit to sale of asset.
So what he will do is, lessee account he will debit as it's a receivable amount, and sale of asset he will credit.
Net investment is equals to gross investment minus unearned finance.
Now gross investment we have seen on the previous page, minimum lease payment plus unguaranteed residual value minus any unearned finance income. So any income which is not earned by the lessor, like interest income, will be subtracted. Gross investment.
Gross investment is equals to minimum lease payment from lessor points of view plus unguaranteed residual value, and unfinanced income is equals to gross investments minus present value of gross investment.
Like I said, my investment is 10 lakhs, but he is paying me 1,30,000 and its present value suppose comes to 9 lakhs. Then for me 1 lakh is unearned financial income. Okay, gross investment minus present value of gross investment.
Recognition of finance income. The lessor should recognize the finance income based on a pattern reflecting constant periodic return on the net investment outstanding in respect of financial lease. In simple words, interest or finance income will be recognized in proportion to outstanding balance receivable from lease.
So this income which I am earning, see 1 lakh is my investment, 30,000 of interest which I am earning. Then I take it in P&L account credit side as an income. But in what proportion? In proportion to the outstanding balance. Means initially the outstanding balance will be more and in later years the outstanding balance will be less. Initial years I will recognize more income in P&L account, and later years I will recognize less in P&L account. It's like your home loan. Initially the interest burden is more, later on the interest burden is less because you keep on repaying the loan also. So initial years bank recognize more income and later years bank recognize less income. That way.
Accounting for operating lease in the books of
Now,
lessor.
finance lease is done. Now we take up with operating. Operating lease is like the owner belongs to the owner. What noise is that in between?
चॉकलेट खा रहा है सर
चॉकलेट
अकेला अकेला
Pass it here.
सर सबको बोल सकते
But pass it here.
सर को दे दे सर खाएंगे सर और होगी
Yeah. In between, don't make this noise. Everything gets recorded.
Accounting for operating lease in the books of lessor. Record leased out asset as a fixed asset in the balance sheet.
Now be attentive. Operating lease means the risk and rewards belongs to
Lessor.
lessor. Means owner is the lessor and he is just giving the property on rent to the lessee. So how will lessor record the operating lease in his books? He will record leased out asset as fixed asset in the balance sheet. Means lessor will continue to show the asset as asset side of balance sheet because he is still the owner of the asset.
Charge depreciation as per accounting standard 6.
See, in operating in financial lease, what happened? Lessor recorded it as sale of asset. And who was providing depreciation? Lessee. But in operating lease, who is the owner?
Lessor.
He only shows the asset on the asset side of balance sheet and keeps providing depreciation.
Recognize lease income in profit and loss account using straight line method. If any other method reflects more systematic allocation of earning derived from the diminishing value of leased out asset that
In
approaches
straight away 1,30,000 he will show as an income in P&L account credit side. Straight line method. 13 lakhs divided by 10. 1,30,000 will be shown as an income in P&L account on credit side.
other costs of operating lease should be recognized as expense in the year in which they are incurred.
Any other expenses like municipal tax etc. which the lessor has to pay, in the year in which he pays that, he will debit it to your profit and loss account.
Initial direct cost of the lease may be expensed immediately or deferred.
And initially, if any expenses incurred by the lessor, either you can debit it to P&L account that year itself, or you may write it off over the term of lease.
Accounting for operating lease in the books of lessee.
Now in the books of lessee, it's as good as taking on rent only. He is not the owner. So what do you do with the rent? Debit in P&L account. That is what you do.
Lease payment should be recognized as an expense in the profit and loss account on a straight line basis over the lease term.
So every year 1,30,000 someone will show in P&L account debit side as an expense.
If any other method is more representative of the pattern of the user's benefit, such method can be used.
Any confusions with this? Now, sale and lease back. What is sale and lease back? Understand it? Sale and
Lease back.
lease back means I am giving property to someone right now. Now, sale and lease back means I don't give it to someone on lease. This is a financial agreement. You need money to buy the property which you don't have. So here what I do is I sell the property to someone. Okay? He is the owner of the property. And I only take it on lease from him. I only take the property on lease from him. So sale and lease back. Did you understand this? So it's a financial agreement because I don't have 10 lakhs to buy this property. So initially I say, Samarth, I want to sell this property to you. I sell it to him, but I say that I am in need of 10 lakh rupees, but I also need to use this property. So then he leases back the property to me only.
Sale and leaseback. A sale and leaseback transaction involves the sale of an asset by vendor and leasing of the same asset back to the vendor.
The vendor. Did you understand this?
If leaseback is finance lease,
Now lease back. Sale is sale only. Now lease back. Now it's vice versa. Now who is giving the asset to lease? Yes, now who is giving? But Samarth is giving it to me. Now Samarth is the lessor and I am the lessee. So again that can be two types. Financial lease or operating. So if that is a financial lease.
any profit or loss of sale proceeds over the carrying amount should not be immediately recognized as profit or loss in the financial statement of a seller or lessee. It should be deferred and amortized over lease term in proportion to the depreciation of leased asset.
Now suppose he has purchased this property for 10 lakhs and given it to me on lease for 1,30,000. So whatever is the profit or loss, 30,000, that the lessee should not immediately recognize in P&L account. Samarth will credit that 30,000 in P&L account over a period of 10 years. over a period of 10 years.
लेट आता कितना डिस्टर्ब चॉकलेट फिर मोबाइल
Your picnic is cancelled. You don't come to the picnic. Or you pay 500. Last 5 minutes you disturb the 500. Yes, unlike profit or loss, not immediately recognized, and next sentence, deferred and amortized over the lease term. Yes, further?
If leaseback is operating lease, any profit or loss arising out sale transaction is recognized immediately when sale price is equal to.
So if it's an operating lease, means after that he is transferring the lease to me, but he is only going to be the owner. Then any profit or loss he will immediately recognize in P&L account.
If sale price,
So unlike profit or loss, recognized immediately. Yes.
if sale price below fair value, profit that is carrying amount is less than sale value, recognize profit immediately.
Now, if sale price is below the fair value, suppose I have sold the asset of 10 lakhs. What is the fair value of my asset? 10 lakhs. But I have sold it for, let us say, 9 lakhs. Then he is getting a lower price.
1 lakh.
So what is the profit? 1 lakh. So carrying amount that is less than the sale value, recognized profit immediately. Then
Loss that is carrying amount is more than sale value, recognize loss immediately provided loss is not compensated by future lease payment.
and if it is compensated, the next point.
If carrying cost is more than the sale price, defer and amortize loss if loss is compensated by future lease payment.
So unlike sale price below fair value, profit recognized immediately, loss recognized immediately, not compensated by future lease payment. And again next point, loss amortized, compensated by future lease payment. If it is going to be compensated by future lease payment, then loss don't debit in 1 year's P&L account, then debit in P&L account over the next 10 years. Amortized means write-off. Further?
If sale price is above fair value.
Now above fair value means about 10 lakhs, say 11 lakhs.
If carrying amount is equal to fair value, which will result in profit, amortize the profit over lease period. Carrying amount less than fair value will result in profit, amortize and defer the profit equals sale price less fair value and recognize balance as profit immediately. Carrying is more than the fair value, which will result in loss equal to carrying amount less than fair value should be recognized immediately as profit equal to minus selling price less fair value should be amortized.
So underline in first point, carrying amount equal to fair value, profit amortize. Second, carrying amount less than fair value, profit amortize and defer the profit, sale price less fair value, recognize immediately. Selling price minus fair value, recognize immediately, and balance profit should be amortized. Then carrying more than fair value, then loss equal to carrying amount less fair value, recognized immediately, and profit amortized.
Disclosure. The following disclosure in financial statement of the lessee and lessor should be made as regards lease. Disclosure in operating lease by lessor. General description of significant leasing agreements. Accounting policy for initial direct payments. Future lease payment in aggregate classified as not later than 1 year, later than 1 year, and not later than 5 years, later than 5 years. Disclosure in operating lease.
So, unlike by lessor, general description, accounting policy, future lease payments. These three things are to be disclosed by the lessor, not like by the lessee.
By the lessee. Disclosure in the operating lease by the lessee. General description of significant leasing agreements. Total of future minimum lease payment in following period, not later than 1 year, later than 1 year, and not later than 5 years, later than 5 years. Lease payments recognized in profit and loss account for the period.
So, like general description, future minimum lease payments, and recognized in profit and loss account. But these both are of operating lease. First two are operating lease disclosures by lessor and then by lessee. Now, financial lease disclosures by lessor and lessee.
Disclosure in financial lease by the lessor. General description of significant leasing agreements. Accounting policy for initial direct cost. reconciliation of total gross investment in lease and present value of MLP receivable at the balance
That's
sheet.
minimum lease payment,
Minimum
okay?
lease payment. Minimum lease payment MLP receivable in following categories: not later than 1 year, later than 1 year, and not later than 5 years, and later than the 5 years.
So in financial lease, more disclosures are there, like general description, accounting policy, reconciliation, and minimum lease payments.
Disclosure in finance lease by the lessee. Asset under finance lease segregated from the asset owned. Reconciliation of total MLP
Minimum lease payment.
minimum lease payment with its present value on balance sheet date. Minimum lease payment in following categories on balance sheet date: not later than 1 year, later than 1 year, and not later than 5 years, and later than 5 years.
So like asset under financial lease, then reconciliation and MLP. Okay, now this exercise we need not do, practical questions are there that I will do it tomorrow and we'll solve them. Okay.